All right, welcome to another video. I'm starting this off a little differently. So I want to look at El Macho, okay? El Macho was playing very consistently for several months, years actually, on controller. And then possibly they went to PC, I'm not sure. But they took a lot of time off. So the last game 4 months ago, and then 2 days ago, they decided to play. So they beat Careful Tulip. We have some videos on Careful Tulip. Top player, beat them on Arabia, 50 minutes. Then they beat Stuffing Farts, lower level player, but still beat him. Then they beat Careful Tulip again. Then they beat White Widow. Then they went ahead and they beat Donald 2016 Trump. And then, here's an interesting thing that happened. Apparently Trump was streaming this, and I got the info from Eater Vance here. And she told me that after this first game, which was 52 minutes, right? So it was a real, legit game. Trump was basically just trolling Macho and essentially just queuing up and quitting one game after another. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. There's actually 6, but I want to show you the other page because I want to actually show you some of the games. So what happened was after Eater Vance was watching all of that, she said to DBS Elm, hey, why don't you go snipe El Macho? He's playing on the ladder. So they did. They ended up playing 3 games, and I'm going to bring you those games here, okay? And away we go. So this is El Macho playing as the Mongols and DBS Elm playing as the Goths. They're playing on Land Nomad. Land Nomad is, we've had a bunch of videos on Land Nomad. I love Land Nomad. It looks like El Macho is kind of looking for the corner here, which some players like to go in the corner because they like to have a little bit of safety. They can wall it up a little bit more easily. It's just a little safer spot. But it looks like they're kind of taking their time finding what it is they're looking for here. Whereas if we look over here, we have DBS Elm already going up with their TC. Take the Fog of War off, but suffice it to say they don't know where each other are. And they're gonna have to find it. So Mongols, hunters work faster. There's a lot of hunt on this build here, on this map, right? Land Nomad. Cav archers attack faster, and the light horsemen plus HP in Castle and Imp, and then they have Mangadai, of course, right? So that's their main bonuses. Goths, of course, they have instant loom. Hunters have a hunter bonus, right? So they carry plus 15, and the hunted animals last longer. Also very good on Land Nomad. Infantry is cheaper, and they have extra population space in Imperial Age. Their big thing, though, is they have the faster producing infantry. And I'm sorry, the cheaper infantry and the faster producing infantry because their barracks work faster. Okay. So you can really do, a really good infantry spam with the Goths, which is what most players end up doing. And we have the boar being killed by the TC. Good work. Yeah, you really want to find boar here. So you can see that they're scouting with their little geese here. Another boar in this corner. There's more geese in this corner. There's more hunt in this corner. So pretty good corner, actually. I would assume that Elm is going to find all of that. Now, on this side, there's a boar here, and a boar here. So there's 3 boars around this TC. That's really, really good for El Macho. Macho is a Mexican player, I believe. These are not their correct elos. They're both around 2,000. Hang on, let me see. While we have a moment here, let's see if I can just pull them up and add them. Yeah, El Macho right now is 2,032. Let's go ahead and put that in there. El Macho is 2,000. Also, while we're taking a break here, why don't you guys go ahead and subscribe here? That'd be cool, wouldn't it? And Elm is 1993. I have to do this one time and then we're done. 1993. Okay, bada boom, we got it. Macho coming out, looking for the boar, found the boar, taking the boar. It looks like they're going to try to wall this kind of whole corner off here. Walling on Land Nomad is a good idea. Sometimes it can be a little trickier because these wood lines, like these wood lines are really far apart here for El Macho. Macho 6 on food, putting the rest on wood. DBS Elm 7 on food, putting the rest on wood. And this is really fortunate. It was kind of just luck that they got their hunt right here. But that's really, really fortunate to have that much hunt right next to your base. And they have more in this corner too. I don't know if they found that yet. Let's see. They have not. They still have a geese out here scouting. They have a geese out here scouting. Geese out here. So it looks like they're not prioritizing their geese so much. But they are taking the hunt. And if we look at El Macho's scouting, they've seen this house. So they probably assume that that Elm is over here somewhere. And they've scouted the rest of the map. I mean, lots of times with the scouting, it's more just you're looking for what you've seen and you know where they're not, right? So they know they're not, like, too close to them at least because they've scouted everything nearby. There's a little bit of a pocket here they haven't scouted, but... And I'm curious if they're going to go just normal feudal age or if they're going to fast castle. It seems like teams go in both directions on this map. It is a tricky... It's a tricky map to kind of decide what to do there. If you're close to your opponent, you know, you can definitely get towered and you can also tower them. So you have to be a little aware of that, right? But if you're far from your opponent, maybe going ahead for a fast castle is the way. Which looks like Elm is going to be going for some infantry early. And that might be partly for scouting. I think they might have seen... Oh, they just missed it. Maybe they saw like a villager or something, but no, if they did, they probably would have kept scouting in that direction. It looks like they just missed it. Oh, that's unfortunate. That is unfortunate. But again, the Goths with the faster producing infantry and the cheaper infantry. I mean, I think we're going to see a Goths, typical infantry spam. And from El Macho, nothing yet. El Macho has 8 villagers in queue, and they already have 20 villagers, so it looks like they're going for fast castle. They have some hunt near their base as well. There was 3 boars. They've taken all 3 boars here, so that's really good. That's going to be it for, like, the easy food income. And they're making a barracks, actually, so I didn't expect a barracks. They don't need a barracks. The barracks might be more for exploration. But let's see. Maybe not. El Macho has 14 villagers in queue. I've never seen anyone play like this before. This is bizarre. They're in Dark Age. They're in Dark Age. They have 23 villagers, and they have 14 in queue. And they're building a barrack. So they're just planning on something in Dark Age. It doesn't look like they're in any rush to go up to Feudal Age. And they're adding farms as well. But now we have the militia coming in. And this is what the militia see. Okay, so they saw the mining camp. They found the mining camp with one of the geese. So they knew that they were over here. And militia coming in early. I don't know if I mentioned this, but these are like the top 2 of the top 3 controller players here. So Ibex goes down. Now I've noticed this that the hunt still like decays, and I thought they changed that in the last patch, but I noticed that when I was playing the other day that the hunt still decays. I guess it decay. Like, did it used to just? I think it used to just like eliminate, right? So there's still meat there, just decays like at a normal rate. Okay, so El Macho decided. I think El Macho, as soon as he saw these man-at-arms here, decided to click up to Feudal Age. Wasn't able to get a full wall up. So El Macho on the way up to Feudal. Elm can take out some of these houses. Could even take out this barracks. They're not making any more infantry. They just sent those 3.
Yeah.
Taking more of the hunt back there. They just sent those 3. So if you're El Macho, I would say El Macho might not be in as good of a position as DBS Elm. Elm got 1 villager kill, trying to get another one. Very smart. Really paying attention to these man-at-arms here. And it looks like we have archery range and a blacksmith coming up. So this might still be a fast castle, actually. Yep, we're going to go castle for El Macho. So I think El Macho built the barracks just to be able to build the archery range. And they're going double archery ranges here. So I'm thinking we're probably going to see maybe cav archers would be most likely out of these archery ranges. And Elm trying to get some damage. And El Macho is going to be up pretty darn soon. So really, really good build for El Macho. Elm is still kind of Feudal Age. Stuck in the Feudal Age for a while here. Has a lot of farming. But El Macho was able to, I think, rely mostly on hunt here. But the res collect is pretty close. It's not a big difference in res collected. I mean, the main difference was honestly just these 3 man-at-arms here and the upgrades for them. And that was really the only difference in their builds. Because Macho didn't build any military yet. So as soon as they get to Castle Age, they're going cav archers here. Okay, I mean, that's smart. They're getting bodkin. And we have archers coming out, but archers really, I don't know if you want archers. When your opponent's in Castle Age, having archers there is just, you're going to just throw them away to these cav archers. Yeah, I mean, the only thing good from Elm's position, now we have Loom coming in. Didn't need Loom before because there weren't archers there, but now archers are coming in, so you want to have Loom. But these cav archers, they should be able to clear all of this up. I mean, cav archers are 6+2 attack, 4+2 armor. Archers here, you're looking at 4 attack and 0 armor. And I said that wrong, by the way. Where does it show the armor on the No, Pierce, yeah, 6+2 Pierce armor. No, 6+2 Pierce attack, that's what I thought. I swore it showed the armor down here. Now I'm confused. Shows the attack, the range. Doesn't show the armor anymore? Did I click something wrong? I'll figure that out, because that's weird to me. Definitely used to show the armor there. All right, but back to the game. don't mind my capture age inexperience here. The cav archers are moving forward. I think, yeah, Elm is pretty much fully walled up. They are on stone, so they can get a castle at some point. And we have second TC up for Macho. So Macho really doing quite well. Elm slightly up in the vill count just because they killed, I think, 1 villager. And they've been building villagers instead of going up to Castle Age. But Castle Age is only about a minute away for them. So these cav archers are going to be able to get in. We have a market coming up. The market's necessary because they don't have enough stone to get a castle up, and I think that they really would like a castle here. Protect their home base. Maybe right here, or maybe I don't think they have the ability to get it over here with the cav archers. But maybe just like right here to the left of their town center. That's a good castle spot, defensive castle. And they use the market, and yep, right there. I think that's the only real spot makes any sense. And this isn't walled up actually, so these maybe building another little wall here would be good. One cav archer goes down to the TC. And now the castle's up, so I mean now your base is stabilized. But what does Elm make though is the issue. I mean the best thing to make against this is Huskarls, which you can make out of the castle, which he's making right now. Because Huskarls, they have really high pierce armor. When the Huskarls come out, they're probably just are they coming out? Or are they just in the castle? I can't see. Oh yeah, they're fighting. Okay, so this shows the pierce armor here. Huh, so on the range units, it shows the range and the attack, and on these units here, there's no range to show, so it shows the armor. I wish it showed both here. I thought it did. I swore it did. Some people say capture age could be kind of buggy. I haven't had too many bugs with it, so I don't think that's a bug, but maybe someone who knows can comment to me. All right, so now the cav archers are here, but what damage can they do? And we have step lancers coming out instead of cav archers, which are much better against Huskarls for sure. Now the Huskarls are moving forward. I mean, Huskarls, if they can find their way down to the bottom here, they could definitely do damage. You know, right now, Elm only knows about this base here. They don't know about where El Macho expanded. And you might expect El Macho to expand, like, towards the north, like to that corner, which would make sense. Oh, there's a hole in this wall. A big old hole. And yeah, the Huskarls are not worried about taking any archer damage. So the step lancers can kill them, though, for sure. But yeah, I mean, Elm is getting some damage here. And Huskarls are able to kill a step lancer. Getting some villager kills here. Yeah, I mean, a really good raid, and I think these Huskarls could just keep coming. You know, they're pretty cheap. Make them right out of the castle. Just stream them in. I mean, this Huskarls, like Goths just in general, and Huskarls specifically in this situation, can really just overwhelm an opponent. And that's 7 villager kills for Elm right now. And 5 for Macho, but Huskarls are actually doing pretty well against the Step Lancers. There's just not enough Step Lancers is the issue. You know, they're fighting, 2-on-2, things like that. And you have to really micro Step Lancers when you have low amounts of them. Step Lancers are really great units, but they're not quite like Knights where they're just super tanky. Like, you have to really control them. Because they have range on them too, so they're hitting you from a tile away. But yeah, these Huskarls, they just keep streaming in. And I like Elm is staying on 1 TC, which I kind of like because it lets you do this. But once this gets stopped, the 1 TC is going to really hurt Elm, I think. You know, once you're basically counting on killing villagers and being able to outproduce 1 town center versus 2. And this is the point where the Step Lancers just have the numbers. They have the numbers versus the Huskarls here. Step Lancers will win that 9 times out of 10. So at this point, Elm is in a tricky position here. And And Elm has not a lot of room to expand here. They're kind of getting close to their limit of what they can do in this little space. They have the back gold, back stone over here, but they really need to move out towards the front of their base somewhere. And Step Lancer goes down. And we still have the Huskarl spam coming out. And what upgrades do we have on these? We have the armor upgrades, no attack upgrades on them. Just a little bit of a dance here. Now these are Cav Archers. Cav Archers are really good against the Step Lancers. Step Lancers only have 1 pierce armor. So these guys are 1+1, so there's 2 pierce armor. Whereas Cav Archers, these are 6+2 Cav Archers, so they're doing damage. So yeah, I mean, this is a great comp for Elm here. And it's tough to counter for Macho, because Macho would normally want to maybe go Cav Archers against this. You know, just Cav Archer versus Cav Archer or skirms. Because Mongol Cav Archers are better, right? But with the Huskarls there, the Cav Archers really don't do a whole lot. Huskarls, not only do they have a lot of pierce, but they also have a bonus against archers. And I think that it applies to Cav Archers too. I'm pretty sure it does. They have attack damage. You see the 6 against archer, and then the other archer. I don't know what that means. There's 2 types of archers, I guess. Maybe one's Cav Archer. And that's a good comp, but you're still going 1 TC versus 2. And Elm, if you look here at the idle TC, so Elm only has 1 TC, but has 4 minutes of idle TC, which is good. El Macho has 17 minutes of idle TC on 2 TCs. So at this stage of the game, actually, Elm is up a couple of villagers just because of that. And they're keeping up the attack here. But I think at some point, the extra TC is going to make the difference. So Elm needs to consider that. They have like the resources to build a TC. They just need a little bit of stone. They're opting for University instead. And a little raid here. Elm cleared up a lot of the Cav Archers from El Macho. El Macho trying to get some quick walls up here, some quick house walls. Looks like they're going to do it. And now some knights getting in the mix here. Yeah, knights are definitely the better play against the Cav Archers. Not necessarily against the Huskarls, but against the Cav Archers for sure. I love this raid down here for Elm. Like, Elm is making Macho feel really, really uncomfortable here. Villagers going down. And yeah, I mean, you can see that the knights are able to take a lot more arrows, but you need more. You need more numbers before you take that fight for sure. Huskarl's trying to come in. There's a lot of pressure, and we have a second TC up for Elm. This on controller, this is so hard to do. This is so hard to try to keep these walls up and move your villagers around and build more walls and repair houses. It's just a lot of multitasking, which on controller is just super, super tricky. A lot easier on PC for sure. And it doesn't look like Macho's able to pay attention to all of this. I don't know where they're looking. There they go. And the Cav Archers are going to get in there. And there's no counterattack coming. And now Elm is up 65 Vils on the second town center. I mean, I can't see a way Elm loses this game. And we have a Mangonel coming out. But the Mangonel is looping around the backside here. Yeah, I mean, El Macho is just overwhelmed. It's just overwhelmed right now. They're trying to get some Mangonels here. Their gather point for the Mangonel is set in front out here, and it needs to be set in back. They figured it out on that Mangonel, but this one, I think this was a mistake, but it looks like it might actually work. This Mangonel might actually get a big hit here. It depends which one's attacked. This one's going to attack first on the left, and then these guys are going to... Oh, they're not. He's not paying attention. There he goes. All right, good reaction for Elm. If this Mangonel didn't attack, this one attacked first, that would have been a lot more devastating. And now we got Huskarls on the top here, and this is what I'm talking about, these house repairs. I mean, just so much idle villager time, doing other stuff. These villagers over here getting forgotten about. Just so much pressure. And Macho going for Wheelbarrow right now. But Wheelbarrow is not going to save you from this attack, I'm sorry to tell you. We have a third TC up from Elm. Yeah, Elm is in solid control of this game. Very, very solid control. And this Mangonel is just in the weirdest position on the front of the base. Can't get through all these walls here. Maybe just need to delete something, get in. But again, just so much to pay attention to. Running these villagers from the north TC to the south TC. Trying to get a castle up. I mean, it's a good castle, but is it too little too late? Yeah, Elm is up just so many villagers now. There's no way Elm can blow this. This would be a disaster if Elm blows it. But Mangonels, I've seen Mangonels shift games many, many times. And Macho is not looking to quit. Doesn't seem. All of these geese are like stationed out here, sort of in a scary way. Just like keeping watch on that side. But this TC is going to go down, and we're going to have 3 TCs versus 1. And we're going to have 1 army versus 28. I think El Macho at this point needs to call it. I'm going to 2x speed this because I want to go into more games. And I don't think El Macho has a chance here. Anything's possible. Crazier things have happened. I mean, Mangadai are I don't think are going to be the answer either. And it looks like Macho just canceled the Mangadai. Yeah, I mean, we're up 100 Vils to 50. And more barracks going up for the Huskarl spam. Alright, we're going to go 4x this. Now, Macho at this point had won, I don't know how many games in a row. Probably like 10 plus games in a row, so you never want to take your first loss. You never want to accept that you can lose. I mean, they got no quit, though. They're going for stables in the back. And Imp is in for Elm. We have Elite Huskarls. I mean, Elite Huskarls could come in and just kill everything by themselves. They don't even need they don't even need Trebs, but the Trebs are on their way. And Macho has to realize that this is over at this point. They're just... Yeah, I notice particularly controller players just don't want to quit. They just don't accept when things are over sometimes. Even at the highest level. Even at the highest level, you know? And that's the GG. Alright, so Elm takes this game, but we have a couple more games to play. That was a snipe, so that was Eater Van said, hey, go snipe this dude. And Elm said, not a problem. Let's see what I got. And El Macho went ahead and took the L there. So let me go ahead and bring another game. This next game's going to happen right after this. All right, we got game 2 here. They match. This is all ranked ladder stuff, by the way. They're just sniping each other. There's so few players sometimes on the highest level that you can kind of assume who you're going to play based on what you see out there. So we have Elm being very exciting, playing as the Goths again. And we have El Macho playing as the Saracens. So, Saracens, we just went over the Goths. Saracens have the market, right? Their market fee is better, and their markets are cheaper, okay? Camels have plus 25% HP. I have said many times I think Saracen camels are the best, if not one of, they're definitely one of the best, right? Camels in the whole game. And they have the Mamelukes. Mamelukes are freaking awesome. Mamelukes are mounted camel riders that throw axes. They have unlimited axes for some reason. They never run out of axes, which is cool. And they do melee damage from distance, right? The only downside with them is their range isn't like incredible, but they're actually a perfect counter for the Goths because the Goths have infantry that have really high pierce armor, and it does melee damage, doesn't do pierce damage. So Mamelukes would be really good if they get into them, right? They have to get to Castle Age. A lot of things have to happen before that. But also, one thing about the Saracens that I think people forget, at least I forget, is the archer line and the skirmisher line have +2 attack versus buildings. So it's tough to wall their archers out. Like when I play Saracens, I used to have a nice little strat on Saracens where I would go full archers, like I would go two archery range archers, right? And I would really like commit to archers in Feudal Age. And then they would be making skirmishers, they would be trying to counter the archers. And as soon as I get to Castle Age, I just forget about the archers. They're dead to me. And I go ahead and I make camels, because usually they're going cavalry, right? So I make camels, and then if I get into Mamelukes, I get into Mamelukes. And I find that's a tough strategy because they're committed to stopping the archers. So they've gone into skirmishers, they've gone into maybe archers of their own, they've gone into knights, whatever it is. And then as soon as I switch to camels, if they went into knights or skirmishers, I mean, they're done. They're dead. So they have to kind of make a decision of what to go into. And if they make the wrong decision, then they're in a tough spot, you know? So both these guys playing pretty well. Elm has a little bit of idle TC time, which honestly I wouldn't expect from a player like Elm, but you know, that happens. The Goths, they get instant loom, right? Yeah, they get instant loom. So if you like are housed, you can't just get loom. Like it doesn't save you any time getting loom because you already get it in the very beginning. You know, Goths start usually the first thing you do is click on loom. And then go ahead and build your villagers. And we have chickens here. This is Arabia again. So we have chickens here. And the chickens, there's usually some like deer elsewhere on the map. I don't really see any. We got these jaguars. Yeah, there's deer here. So these deer are, yep, this is something, I've heard Harris say this a few times, that these neutral deer sometimes just are too close to one player, which is definitely the case right now. But Elm tried to push these deer in, and then this little ridge got in the way, and it looks like he just wants to go scout. And Feudal Age coming in from Macho at 17 vills, which is super fast. Super, super fast. You can build a market right away with the Saracens, and then you can kind of like get your economy right. But 17 vills, you know, it makes you wonder if they're going to have enough food and resources to do whatever it is that they want to do. They're on stone here, so it makes you think they want to be aggressive early. They're going to be a whole minute ahead of Elm, but Elm is going to be 2 villagers up by the time Macho gets there. So I'm curious what Macho's going to do. I'm guessing they're going to build a market pretty quickly. And then maybe go into archers, but we'll see. And looks like we have a man-at-arms rush from the Goth player. Goth man-at-arms rush, timing can be really, really good. They went up 2 vills later, and they're still going to have man-at-arms basically before Macho has any defense. And archery range coming up, so no market yet. We're going to have an archery range first. 2 archery ranges, okay. So I would do a similar build to this, and I loved it. I would do the market and then 2 archery ranges, or like kind of like all 3 at the same time. But I'd do the market first because then you just sell your stone, and you know whatever resources you need, you're buying there. I think I would buy. I want to say I would buy food with it, and then you can just actually keep up double production archery range pretty well. You know, just kind of abusing that Saracen bonus. And man-at-arms are in. 1 is almost dead. It's half health, and that's kind of unfortunate that the same militia got attacked by 2 different jaguars on the way over, and they're going all the way to the back of this base. And this scout, good or bad, kind of brings attention to the fact that these man-at-arms are here. And let's see if... I want to see if Macho was going to target the weak one, but it doesn't look like it. But these man-at-arms might not get a whole lot of damage. I mean, they have 3 villager kills, so yeah, that's more than enough damage right there. Lost a scout. Is that gonna be a 4th villager kill? No, it's gonna get saved. Yeah. So 3 villager kills from 3 man-at-arms. That's pretty darn good. So you're up 3 vills right now. Okay, and we have a blacksmith and an archery range coming up for Elm here. All right, so the archery range, blacksmith up, archer coming out. We have archers from Macho coming forward. And the villagers taking the chickens. Macho being down 5 vills this early, it does not feel good, I'm sure. And that man-at-arms attack did a lot of work. And archers coming out on defense. Fletching coming in for Macho, nothing in for Elm yet. Nothing being researched. And 1 archer down. This is a situation. I know no one wants to build skirmishers because they cost wood and they cost food, but this is a situation where a few skirmishers would I think, be a better defensive route to go. And these villagers are probably gonna get away, but yeah, this is a lot of damage for Macho here. And Macho is sending more and more. You know, Macho's at the bare minimum for food. Like, they're not going to be able to go up to Castle Edge anytime soon. But they should be able to keep up this production, though. And yeah, Elm is a little bit caught off guard and a little overwhelmed by this. They got him with the Huskarls last time, but they had to get to Castle Age for that. And they have the base walled off over here, but they have a hole right in the front. Now, I think that happens a lot, though. Like, it's so easy. You think, like, oh, I want to wall off the sides of my base, and you just forget about the front of your base. These villagers are going to be in trouble. So they're chopping wood around the base because they finished the berries there. But yeah, Elm is in a tricky spot here. Let's see how they respond. Still making skirmishers are definitely the move, but it's a lot of archers there. And the nice thing about the skirmisher defense is you don't need as many, right? You know, you can kill a lot more archers than they can kill of you. Yeah, like at this point, like the skirmishers, they're taking the hill damage here. But if it's just an even fight, you know, 4 versus it was like 7, I think. Like the 4 are gonna win that for sure. I'd love to see like a gate or something over here. But archers on the hill. Archers on the hill. You don't want to fight archers on the hill. Now, Elm is happy with his skirmisher mass, and he's adding in archers, but some of these archers might get picked off. Might get picked off. Nope, archer's gonna make it. Again, they're adding archers just because they don't want to use food for the skirmishers. But the skirmishers, I think, are actually the move with this much archer pressure. And we have even more archers coming out from the back. And Macho's up on Vills now. That caused a lot of idle TC from Elm. I think part of it was, you know, skirmishers costing food and also just not having your villagers working and collecting your resources there. So I mean, that was a very good swing for Macho here. Like, I think Macho is definitely in the better position. And these, I don't know what's up with this gather point here. The gather point's like, they're coming out the front. They need to come out the back. Gather points, very important, guys. Don't overlook your gather points. And we have Castle Age coming in for Macho. And Macho might just stick with the archers. Now we're going to be crossbows. And if they add in just like a couple of knights, it would make a big difference to kill this. But I don't think Elm has what they need. They need to get to Castle Age and make Huskarls again, honestly. But Castle Age just doesn't seem like it's going to be very close for Elm, like even clicking up. Because they're still making skirmishers. And we're going to have 25 archers out soon. There's 17 and there's 8 more in queue. But Elm actually has the villager lead now, though. Mostly just because of Castle Age. So Elm held this a lot better. Switching to skirmishers was definitely a necessary move, especially because Macho was just so committed to these archers. And crossbow comes in right away, and Bodkin comes in right away. And see, Macho sold their stone, which with Saracens you can do that with less punishment, because you can always just buy the stone back. What is with this gather point? I wish Capture Age could show you gather points. Like, so many of these units have just died just walking around trying to get there. Just put the gather point back in your base. Or put it inside the archery range. And now these crossbow are... They're gonna do pretty well here. You got crossbow versus skirmishers. Skirmishers still get the bonus damage, but crossbow are definitely much better at dealing with them. 8 skirmishers versus 15 crossbow here. A lot of these crossbow are weak though, so if these skirmishers can land a few shots, but they just have too much Too much range, too much damage, too much everything. And ballistics coming in for Macho, and we have a minute before Elm is in Castle Age, and Elm's just gonna they have to figure this out. They're gonna have to get a castle up, but they don't have the stone, so that's not an option. They can't get a second TC. I mean, they're hurting. They're down 29 villagers now. They can't take their resources. Yeah, this looks like Macho's gonna take this in pretty early. I think. I could be wrong. I just don't see Elm being able to stop this kind of pressure. Now, if Macho decides I'm gonna sit back and boom instead of continuing the pressure, maybe you give Elm a little bit of time, too much time to recover. And these villagers taking gold way out here. I mean, that's so bad. That can't be more. That can't be less efficient than it is. And that's the GG. I want to put this up here, even though this isn't technically not a best of anything. I just want to put it up, because why not? I'm going to get right into the next game here. Hold on. Everybody relax. I'm getting into it. We got game 3 on Mega Random. Let's see what we got here. So Elm took the first game. Macho took the second game. And now we have a third game. We're going to call this a best of 3. Hold on. We're going to call this a best of 3. And let's see what happens. So I love Mega Randoms. I'm watching the Hyper Random sets. They're really, really fun. So we have Koreans versus Koreans, a mirror match. Koreans, one of my favorite civs. Okay, let's before we go into the civ, let's look at the map here. We have a boar over here. We have a boar over here. Technically an elephant and a rhino. Looks like there's a lot of sheep. We have 6 that have been gathered and 4 that haven't been. So there's at least 10 sheep on the map. We have some zebras to take their meats. We got the zebra meats over here. You have gold, stone, another gold, and berries, and another stone and more gold on the side. So pretty easy to get all of that. Now on this one, there's the same thing, 2 golds, 2 stones, berries, and all the same hunt and everything. And then they have not a lot of wood anywhere on this map, really. These trees only give you 200. So if I zoom in here, all these trees give you 4,000 wood. That doesn't last very long, 4,000 wood. All right, so we have Elm as the Koreans in the blue and Macho as the Koreans in the red. Koreans, stone miners work faster, okay? Their ranged soldiers and infantry cost minus 50% wood, so that's their archers and their skirmishers, right? So they have like cheaper trash units. I actually forgot that their archers are cheaper wood, but that's good. But archers are more like gold intensive anyway. And then the archer armor you get immediately, and your tower upgrades you get immediately, right? So really, really good. They also have upgrades to their tower line. You can get more range on it. And their war wagon out of their castle is a pretty awesome unit. It's basically like a souped up. Some people still say that, souped up. It's basically just like a more powerful cav archer, right? It's like a cav archer on steroids. Now, these palisade walls, let's see what these do. These are the fortified ones. So 300 HP on them. It's only a normal palisade gate. I guess there is no fortified palisade gate. So there's actually less HP on the gate than there is on the wall. So the move, if you want to be a little protected, I think stone walls are 500, I want to say. But if you want to be more protected, the move is to replace these gates with either stone walls or stone gates. Because these are weak. And idle TC a little bit for El Macho now. So last time it was Elm who had the idle TC. Now it's Macho who has the idle TC. So they're going to be down a Vil. Maybe 2 Vils. They still got the idle. What are they doing? Oh, they didn't garrison good. They did a bad garrison situation. They were trying to do too much at once. They were pushing the hunt. They were taking the rhinoceros. And that cost them almost an extra villager in that process. That actually is huge. At this level, that's pretty huge. But someone's fishing. Wait a second. Okay, so we have fish here. So they're going to make up for their idle TC with the fish. And there's no fish for Elm. Let's see how Elm's scouting looks. Elm can see. They can see that there's water there. So whenever there's fish, you want to fish them. Fish give you the most efficient food in the whole game. And they pay off super quick fishing. Like, it's not like, building a mill on hunt, like, far away from your base, where, maybe it's worth it, maybe it's not, a lot of villager walking time, all that. Fishing pays off so fast. And you'll see it in the res collected. Already, they're up on res collected with more idle TC time. So they're down 2 villagers, right? But they're up because they have the fishing. So they're actually down 4 villagers, 20 villagers to 24. But we have the fishing ships. I think there's 3 fishing ships. This one's exploring right now. So there's 3 fishing ships. And Elm doesn't look like they are considering fishing here. And I'm telling you right now, it's going to be a mistake. Just keep an eye on the res collected here. As long as the idle TC time's the same, the res collected for El Macho is gonna go way up. All right, so El Macho is up to Feudal. And they already have a market here. They're making their blacksmith now. Did they start with the market? Is that what happened? Yeah, they must have started with the market. So that counts. Elm is 2 minutes away from Feudal. And as soon as Elm hits Castle Age, you're going to see this difference in res collected. I got a feeling. No one's on stone yet. Again, the wood lines are tricky. There's a little bit better wood line out here. This wood line is pretty decent. I mean, there's a lot of wood there, I guess. 3,000 wood. Yeah, I mean, just all the wood lines are just kind of crappy. 6,000 wood over here. I think I'd include some of that, though. Let me try that again. Yeah, 3,000 wood over here. Yeah, all the wood is just crappy, but they'll figure it out. And now, Elm can see the fishing. So Elm has a choice to make. If they're going to add fishing of their own, they could put a dock over here and try to kill this fishing. They could put towers up. I mean, they're both Korean, so Korean towers are really, really good. You put a tower up right on the shore, maybe. Try to kill the fishing there. But I would assume that Elm is experienced enough to know that if the other player's fishing and you're not, just how much that's going to hurt you, right? But I mean, my prediction is not come true yet. Elm is still is more efficient with their villagers here. Why that is, I don't know. I mean, this villager's just standing around. That might have something to do with it. The villager had to come out here to build the dock. But in theory, El Macho really should have a res collected lead very soon. It also could be what they're on. Yeah, so this is why. So Elm is on a lot of gold. Gold gathers faster. So Elm had 8 on gold for a while there. And that would explain why they're getting more res collected. And they have 6 on stone. So that's the explanation right there. All right, so I'm not completely wrong about this game. There's a thing or two that is correct. And Elm deciding not to go on fish at all. And both on the way up to Castle Age. Macho is going to be up there first. Elm is going to be up there about 30 seconds, 40 seconds later. So see if that has much of an effect. Macho has 300 stone. I don't know if they started with more stone. I didn't notice. They're going for a second TC right away, and they could build another TC. Yep, and they're going to build another TC. I like this. I like this boom a lot, especially, you know, they know that they're fishing. I don't know if they can. Yeah, I mean, how could you be sure if your opponent is fishing or not? Now, castle right away for Elm over here. I don't like that. I don't like that one bit, especially because the Koreans can make towers. So, you know, you can get 4 or 5 towers up instead of 1 castle. And I think it's gonna, yeah, it's gonna really hurt your economy because you had so much on stone for so long. You have villagers working here. I mean, there's lots of reasons, right? But it looks like they're gonna go all in on war wagons. That's my guess. I've done this strat many times. You fast castle Koreans into war wagons, and it's really tough to stop. And we have the opposite approach from El Macho here. El Macho is going all in on the economy. And only 3 fishing ships. You know, not really fully committed. How much fish is really in here? Yeah, I mean, there's only about 1,000 fish here, so it's really not that much. Maybe there's a couple. Maybe it was like 1,500 or so before. And now that I see this, and now I know this, you should be attacking the gate and not the palisade wall. So the palisade wall is at 500 now, and the gate is at 400 because they get more HP throughout. And we have an all-in war wagon from Elm. I don't like this from Elm. I don't like it one bit. I love this strategy, but I think you have to be actually faster and more aggressive with it. And the wood here is such a disaster. And war wagons are super expensive on wood. Like, they're expensive on gold. I think they're like 100. I don't know if it'll show it here. They're 100. It doesn't show. Why doesn't it show? It should show it. They're 100 wood, right? So like, it's usually when you're building them, like massing them, you're just like always running out of wood. You just never have enough wood to do it. He had 18 on wood, and he has 100 in the bank. And with the wood lines here, and they're going to be so efficient. Like, look at all these villagers, how far they have to go. Pretty soon, they're going to have to move to another wood line. Like, it's just super inefficient wood here. And we have 4 TCs on this side. And the vill count is already climbing. But if you're going to do this, this is how you have to do it. You have to do the damage now. So this shows their armor, and this shows their range. How come the cav archers didn't? It definitely got to be a capture rage bug. And these guys, they have the range to shoot that villager. Yeah, these villagers don't stand a chance. These are war wagons with full blacksmith upgrades and full ballistics. Now, Macho should realize, though, that this is an all-in war wagon situation. Macho, you do not want to send your villagers there, buddy. Yeah, you do not want to send your villagers there. Like, just give this up. And so the best way to stop war wagons, there's 2 ways to stop war wagons, okay? You can go siege. Mangonels are really good against war wagons. It's a higher difficulty level, in my opinion, when you go siege against war wagons. You have to control the mangonels. It's tricky. What are these? Oh, my goodness. Macho's just getting overwhelmed here. But Macho's up almost 20 villagers already. No army, but 20 villagers. So you want to go siege against the war wagons or monks. Monks are awesome against war wagons because they're like elephants. They're super expensive. Like super, super, super expensive. Now, the mistake that I think Elm is making, okay, as an experienced all-in war wagon fast castle guy, is have some on stone. You don't have to have your entire 10 people on it, but have enough on stone where you can get another castle up. Because in this situation, if you can get another castle up in in their base, you can build more war wagons out of that castle, and you'll just have that castle to protect you, right? That, or just get more town centers up in the back. But all in war wagon, like, basically, you just never stop making them. You just keep them going. But the castle's gonna be tricky. But he's getting, he's getting a lot of villagers to run away. A lot of idle villagers over here. Idle TC time at this point with 4 TCs probably isn't really that important. And Macho's making some war wagons of their own. I don't know. I mean, I guess if you can match the numbers, but you'll never match the numbers of a player who's all in. With one, when they've already started, right? And they did make a monk, try to get some conversions. And war wagons, they can take out this TC. Like, war wagons surrounding the TC can do that. They're kind of like scorpions in a way, where if you get enough of them, you can just surround a TC and take it out. They don't have quite the range. And targeting the monastery would be nice. Possibly some siege behind this would be nice. But here's the Elm is stopping the construction of the war wagons to try to add siege into this. And they know that these villagers are running away, so they're just going to try to go after them. If they spot these farms out here, if they go out here, they're going to be in trouble. They're going to be in big trouble. Where are these guys going? And they spot it. They spot it. Now, war wagons, I mean, you don't want to throw them away. Like, even having them under the TC fire here, I think, is kind of tricky. I love this, though. Oh, I forgot that the Koreans get rocket carts now. Yeah, rocket carts are going to be really good against the war wagons. Under the castle fire. And behind all this, Macho's still up 20 villagers, but it's getting closer, though. If Elm can get out here, this is going to be a disaster. It honestly already is a disaster, because, yeah, this is your villager lead right here, and they're all running away, not working, right? I wonder if he's gonna wall back over here. And these villagers are taking the long route here. And we do have a second TC up for Elm, which is, they had to stop their production of the war wagons for a little while. They're making rams now. They're making the war wagons again. Oh no, these war wagons are in trouble. I mean, it's just one rocket cart right now over here. Who is fighting? Who is fighting over here? What's going on? And there's 5 rams built. The nice thing, if you have war wagons like this, having a monastery and having monks is really good of your own, because you can heal them up. And they're so expensive, so healing them up is really good. They might be able to get some damage here. Okay, about 3 villagers down there. Rocket carts are a bit slower than the war wagons, so... Alright, here's the big push. This is like game winning or game losing push right here, I think. The rams come in. You want to go for the TC, go for the castle. And I don't know if there's enough rocket carts to defend here. And the Vil lead is only 12 right now. And going down. Actually, no, even less. It's 8 right now. 8 and dropping. But I'm not sure if there's enough war wagons on the field. Only 10 war wagons. And I mean, war wagons they don't have like insane amount of pierce armor. They just have like a normal amount of pierce armor. 3+2. I mean, it's good. But it's not Huskarl level, you know. It's not hang out under a castle level. I'll tell you that much. Petards. All right, the War Wagon production's coming back up. And castle's down. That's gonna be a problem. That's gonna be a problem. And it looks like Elm sent a War Wagon like through the top to see about that. And Elm has the villager lead here. And these villagers are all going down from Macho. These villagers are all going down. I think Elm's gonna do it. And Elm is now up 12 villagers. We have 2 town centers, and they're not in good positions for Macho. The only good thing Macho did here was get rid of those rams, but now we have more rams coming up. And I have not seen a single conversion out of Macho. And oh, if he went to this gold, that would have been so good. And I've been in this kind of position before where you're Elm and you're like just so all in on War Wagons basically. It never feels like you really have the lead that you have. Because you really do sacrifice a lot of economy. So even at 75 vills, like, you don't know how many Macho has right now. You might have a good feeling about it. You might be looking at the score, you know, seeing all the damage you did. You're like, okay, this is good. But remember, he had 4 town centers when you had 1. You know? So he could have been building, you know, 20, 30, 40 more villagers than you. And they might be on the other side of the map. You don't know. That happens a lot. Because you're always just down in vill production. At this point, should be able to be stabilized. You know, you're at 80 vills or so. I haven't seen a conversion yet, though. There's 1 conversion right there. They gotta kill these monks. They gotta go after the monasteries too. Excuse me. And this TC's going down. Another TC going up for Macho. Macho's not a quitter. We learned that. We learned that in game 1. But there's 16 War Wagons, and they're on their way, I would assume, because there's definitely not 16 here. Yeah, there they are. And this base is basically completely destroyed. But again, if you're the War Wagon player here, you're not thinking that you're in such this giant lead. You know, you feel good about it, but you know that they had more town centers than you. Yeah, take out the monastery for sure. They can take out these monks. They don't really have an answer for these rocket carts, to be honest. Rocket carts and monks. The rocket carts are destroying. Oh my goodness. There's no way for Macho to come back, right? Like, there's no way. At this point, Elm needs to add, like, some scouts or something. Just to deal with these rocket carts. Fishing's going down. Vill fighting the Rams. I mean, there's no way. I don't know why. I've been in this position on the winning side before. I was in a tournament against. Who was I against? I want to say it was like Petardo or something. It was a really good player, and I went all in on on war wagons, and I was like almost in this kind of position, and I ended up losing because they're just a better player. Just they can contain it, they can beat it. They're smart enough to know what to do. But 27 villas versus 96, I don't think even if you switch to anything else at this point, I don't think you can lose. Like I always think, like, here's how I think when I see situations like this. If you started the game from here with no units on the field, right? 98 villagers versus 28. Elm just does something else and wins, you know? Like they wouldn't continue doing this strategy. But for some reason when you've been doing it the whole game, you're like, I'm just going to keep doing it because it got me here. And now this is smart. Just check to see if there's villagers anywhere else. Now you know you cleared this base. But even the score lead, you can look at that and you can think, oh, that's all the damage I did. That's all the things I killed. It's not necessarily how much economically I'm up, right? And I think that's the difference. More wagons up in the north. This is pretty much all of Macho's economy right here. Yeah, like Macho's dead everywhere else. It's just here. And that's it. That's the GG. Yeah, I mean, dude, all in war wagons. I should make just a video just showing that. It's so good. It's so good. I think all in war wagons beats on the PC on the controller ladder. I would say all in war wagons beats like probably up to 1,500, honestly, or like 1,400 maybe. Like if you did that every single time, you're gonna lose sometimes for sure. When the other players are very good, but it's just so hard. You can just stream them in, and you only need like 24 villagers or so maybe to keep it up just constantly and to keep up other production. But devastating. I like they're both Koreans and just did completely opposite strategies too. Horse collar coming in at 40 minutes. Solid. I mean, their castle times are pretty even. It was just what they did afterwards. You know, Elm just said, I'm going full in military, full in war wagons. And then adding those rams was really really smart there. All right, that's the GGs. Thanks for watching. If you watched it this far, make sure you're subscribed. A lot of people aren't who watch. And I'll catch you later. See ya.